Yes, for animation students, Animate CC, I'm going to explain about animation principles. Okay, so this is very important subject for the animation. Okay, 12 animation principles. So we have to study. So first, let us check about what is animation and character animation and goal. Okay, just follow this. First, character animation and goal. So make characters that move in a convincing way to communicate personality and mood. Okay, so Walt Disney developed a number of principles. The computer graphics animators have adapted them to 3D animation. Okay, so actually these animation principles developed by the Walt Disney people. Okay, in 18th century. So these animation principles were designed and developed by these people. Okay, then nowadays for the latest technology and latest softwares for 3D we are using 3D Max and Maya. Even though along with this 3D softwares, the same 2D animation principles we are using for 3D also. So computer graphics animators have adapted them to 3D animation. So these are very important principles for 2D and even for 3D also. Okay, so let us check one by one. The 12 basic principles of animation is a set of principles of animation introduced by the Disney animators. Okay, so Ollie Johnston and Frank Thomas in their 1981 book The Illusion of Life by Disney Animation. Okay, so these are the Disney topmost animators, senior animators. They're Ollie Johnston and Frank Thomas. So in their book, 1981 published book, the book name is Illusion of Life. The Illusion of Life is considered as a Bible for the animators. That's very important book. So Illusion of Life. Okay, so this Johnston and Thomas in turn based their book on the work of the leading Disney animators from the 1930s onwards and their efforts to produce more realistic animations. The main goal is to produce more realistic animation. That is the main goal. The purpose of the principle was to produce an illusion of characters adhering to the basic laws of physics. Okay, but they also deal with more abstract issues such as emotional timing and character appeal. Okay, so to produce the illusion of characters. Okay, the basic laws of it depends on the basic laws of physics. Suppose the Newton principles, action reaction. Okay, force and gravity. So depends on the physics based. These 12 animation principles were designed. Okay, so that is the reason in animation the science also involving directly or indirectly, because we are using the principles, same scientific principles based on the physics. Okay, so originally intended to apply to the traditional hand-drawn animation, the principle still have great relevance for today's more prevalent computer animation. Originally designed only for the traditional 2D animation or cell animation or hand-drawn animation, but nowadays we are adapting those techniques to the computer animation also. Okay, so if you check these animation principles one by one, the following are a set of principles to keep in mind. The one is squash and stretch. The second is staging and timing, anticipation and follow through. Then overlapping action, secondary action, straight ahead versus pose to pose, blocking. Okay, the 9 arcs, 10 is slow in slow, 11 exaggeration, 12 appeal. So these are the 12 animation principles. Okay, if you check one by one more clearly, The first one is squash and stretch. The most important principle is squash and stretch, the purpose of which is to give a sense of weight and flexibility to drawn objects. Okay, the squash flatten an object or character by pressure or by its own power. Then stretch is used to increase the sense of speed and emphasize the squash by contrast. Okay, so keep volume constant. So that means what? When you hit anything like a ball, rubber ball and all, then it squashes on flattened objects, and surface it flatten, and touching the floor, touching the surface, the ball has flattened. So then the object or character by pressure or by its own power. Okay, that is squash. And stretch means after hitting the ground, the ball jumps into air. Okay, so because the power gaining immediately after hitting ground, it is bouncing into air, bouncing back, so then it stretches. The stretchness is we use for the sense of speed, to increase speed. Okay, we are using the stretchness. Okay, so this is emphasizing by the squash or contrast. Okay, so here we have to keep these things, few things in mind. So volume must be constant, should not change the volume. So the volume, the shape of the object, according to stretch and squash, it can squash and stretch, but the value must be the same. That is very important. So here the example, here I am showing the bouncing ball. So this is the bouncing ball. Okay, the practically we have to create bouncing ball animation. We have to submit as a part of assignment. We'll get the internal marks also. So normal rubber ball is coming from outside into a room. Okay, so because of the opposite earth gravity, and the topmost level, the speed, the velocity is 0 here. Okay, so then it is hitting the ground. So then again it is bouncing into air. Okay, after hitting the ground, it is bouncing into air. It reaches the topmost level. There the speed is again 0. Okay, because it reached opposite to gravity. Okay, so there the speed is 0. There the bouncing ball action will be slower, very slow. Okay, because for the slow actions we give more frames. We are giving more frames in animation means the action will be slower. Okay, the less frames means faster. Okay, so because of that the ball is getting more frames here, so the action is slower. Then slowly, because of the gravity pulling down, at the gravity pulling down, so the ball started to increase the speed. So at this slope area the ball gets more speed, so that means stretches. Okay, then touch the ground. After touching this, and again it is bouncing into air. So the same thing it continues for the bouncing ball. So here we are using squash or recoil. At hitting area, the ball position is squash or recoil position, and it is jumping into air. There ball stretches. So because the stretchness we are using for the speed, to indicate the sense of speed, we are using that. Okay, so this is bouncing ball. Actually we definitely will do in a practical also. That is very important. Okay, then the second principle is anticipation, and anticipation has 3 parts. Okay, so action generally has 3 parts. The first is anticipation, action and reaction. Okay, so that means what? Any action, suppose you are throwing one object. Okay, so before throwing object you stretch few frames back. Okay, to gaining your strength, you are pulling few frames back, then you are stretching forward and throwing object. So the same way here we are also applying the same thing, same method in animation also. So first take the anticipation, then action, then reaction. So anticipation is what? Preparation for the action. For the throwing object, first you have to pull back yourself, that is anticipation. After gaining the strength, you are going to in action. So you are throwing, you are stretching, forwarding, that is action. After throwing object, you are coming into normal position, that is reaction. Okay, so here action has three parts: anticipation, action, and reaction. Okay, then anatomical motivation. A muscle must extend before it can contract. So prepares audience for action, so they know what to expect. Director audience attention. So we are preparing for the action, that is anticipation. That's very important. So every action has suppose first anticipation. So take the anticipation, then we stretch into forward direction, that is action, and after throwing that, after completing the action, you must react into a normal, so that can be a reaction. So that is anticipation. So we use these all principles in practically, then we'll understand more clearly. So here anticipation is used to prepare the audience for an action and to make the action appear more realistic. Okay, so a dancer jumping off the floor has to bend his knees first. A golfer making a swing has to swing the club back first. The technique can also be used for less physical actions, such as a character looking off screen to anticipate someone's arrival, or attention focusing on an subject or object that a character is about to pick up. Okay, so here the example I'm showing, here the basketball player making a pitch prepares for the action by moving his arm back. So before throwing his ball, he is anticipating back. After anticipating, is gaining a strength and stretching forward and throwing ball. After throwing that, the throwing means what? That is action. And after action, he must settle down to normal. So that is settling. Okay, so anticipation, action, and reaction. The three things normally in general actions also we apply. All the human beings and animals also can do the same. And the third one is staging. The staging means what? Your placements. This principle is akin to staging as it is known in theatre and film. It is purpose to direct the audience attention and make it clear what is of greatest importance in a scene, what is happening and what is about to happen. Okay, Johnston and Thomas define it as the presentation of an idea, so that is completely and unmistakably clear whether that idea is an action, a personality, an expression, or a mood. So staging means what? Generally how we understand, so the placement of the objects, and stage decoration. Suppose in theatre and a film, as per the priority of the hero or other the crew, though we arrange, so hero and frontwards, and again the background, and again other people, the background people, they stand the behind. So as per the importance of the story, we arrange the characters placement on stage for the best appearance. Okay, that is called staging. This can be done by various means, such as the placement of a character in the frame, the use of light and shadow, and the angle, and the position of the camera. The essence of this principle is keeping focus on what is relevant and avoiding unnecessary detail. So must maintain the clarity in pictures. So that is called sometimes we say as silhouette. Silhouettes are what? The clarity in picture. So that is very important. At the same time, we have to apply the light and shadow also. As per the direction of the light, in opposite direction, generally we get the shades. So that is ground shadows. Okay. So then here the present the idea, so it is unmistakably clear. Audience can only see the one thing at a time. Okay, so that means what, on stage two or three characters are there, one character interacting with another character. Okay, at the same time on the same screen, the other side should not operate the another action. So that means what, audience then distract their vision from one area to another area. Okay, so instead of that you can focus only particularly in one action only. So because the reason is audience can only see one thing at a time, they focus on one thing. Okay, if you operate another action piece of business side, so automatically their attention can distract to other side. Should not do that, because one can only see one thing at a time. So useful guide, stage actions in silhouette. So silhouette means here the clarity in drawing, clarity in pose, clarity in frame. That is very important. The important expressions, important the body language, you should not cover with your hands and your other body parts. Should maintain the clarity in picture. That is very important. Then here straight ahead action and pose to pose. Okay, actually there are two different approaches to the actual drawing process: the straight ahead action and pose to pose. The straight ahead means drawing out a scene frame by frame from beginning to end, while pose to pose involves starting with drawing a few keyframes and then filling in the intervals later. Okay, straight ahead action creates a more fluid, dynamic illusion of movement and is better for producing realistic action sequences. On the other hand, it is hard to maintain proportions and to create exact convincing poses along the way. Okay, so for understanding purpose, in a simple way I'll explain the straight ahead and pose to pose. Straight ahead means what? Start to end continuously draw your poses till to end of your action. Suppose for example there is a fish swimming. Okay, so swimming one direction to another direction. Okay, you can create path first, how the path, I mean a fish can swim. Okay, by giving the line, the curvy line. Okay, that is path for the fish action. Then start from one area and draw to animate one side to another side, draw one side fish and continuously draw all the fishes till to end of the action. So that is called what? Straight ahead. Continuously we are approaching with the drawings. Okay, proper drawing of the fishes. Against to that, pose to pose. Pose to pose means what? We are defining by one particular pose. Start with one pose, on the other hand end stage we draw another pose. So these are the main key poses of the particular action. So first pose to other pose, last pose, we can create in between drawings. We are filling in betweens. Okay, this is pose to pose. Pose to pose is more popular than straight ahead action. Nowadays in the computer 3D kind of animation also, the more popularly we are using pose to pose animation because it is more planned, pre-planned. So we draw one pose and last pose, and between these two poses we create the between drawings, we fill with the in-betweens. So automatically system can generate all the other frames, the illusion of the motion will get. Okay, so these both techniques are opposite each other, straight ahead and pose to pose. Okay, so pose to pose works better for the dramatic or emotional scenes, generally we use. Okay, where composition and relation to the surroundings are of a greater importance. A combination of the two techniques is often used. So generally pose to pose and straight ahead action, sometimes this combination we use in scenes and sequences, okay, of animation. Computer animation removes the problems of proportion related straight ahead action. Okay, so this is drawing. However, pose to pose is still used for computer animation because of the advantages it brings in composition. The use of computer facilitate this method, as computers can fill in the missing sequences in between poses automatically. Okay, so here the diagram I'm showing the straight head action example. So suppose he is hitting that. Okay, so there is a one pose here is a leg, and this is other pose. Okay, continuously here the pose by pose continuously it drawn the images. So here it is straight ahead. On the other side it is pose to pose. The model is stretching hands. Okay, suppose here in relaxed mode, and here it is stretched mode. So between these filled with the in between, this is in between. Okay, this is pose to pose, and this is straight ahead. Okay, so all this practically we do. Then next straight ahead. So here the more clarity and the straight ahead action, proceed from one frame to one frame, other frame, without planning where you want to be in 10 frames. Can be wild or spontaneous. The pose to pose define keyframes and in-betweens. Okay, then blocking, computer graphic animators adaptation. So blocking means what? Again the same pose to pose in 2D animation. So we use pose to pose in 3D animation. The same pose to pose we say as a blocking. So computer graphic animators adapted these techniques. First they block block by block in particular pose, then they start the animation. So start keyframing at the top of the hierarchy, refine level by level. So keyframes for different parts need not happen at the same time. Okay, yes. Then the 5 principle, the 5th one is follow through and overlapping action. So these closely related techniques help render movement more realistic and give the impression that characters follow the laws of physics. Follow through means that separate parts of a body will continue moving after the character has stopped. Okay, so these are more closely related techniques to render movement more realistic. Okay. Follow through means what? The separate body parts will continue moving after the character has stopped. Then here the other one is overlapping action. Is the tendency for the parts of the body to move at different rates. An arm will move on different timing of the head and so on. A third technique is a drag, where a character starts to move and parts of him take a few frames to catch up. These frames can be inanimate objects, okay, like clothing or the antenna, and a car or parts of the body such as arms or hair on the human body. The torso is a core with arms, legs, head and here appendices that normally follow the torso's movement. Okay, this overlap action can overlap the parts of the body. Okay, so these body parts such as the loose skin, suppose ears and other body parts, can move swinging when you jump in the same place. Your body parts can swing and overlap each other. So exaggerated use of the technique can produce a comical effect. So while more realistic animation, you must time the actions exactly to produce a convincing result. So then Thomas and Johnson also developed the principle of the moving code. So a character not in movement can be rendered absolutely still. This is often done particularly to draw attention to the main action, according to Thomas and Johnston. However, this gave a dull and lifeless result and should be avoided. Okay, so even character sitting still can display some sort of movement. such as the torso moving and out with the breathing. So moving hold means the character should not move at the same place, can stand, but the some parts of the, suppose the your breathing sensation, the chest can move up and down, there it is moving, still it is moving, but the character, it is in hold, so that is called moving hold. Here the example for the follow through. So this diagram is showing a follow through. Okay, so you can observe here we are throwing this. Okay, and after throwing this you must stretch down. Okay, then the sixth one is slow in, slow out. The movement of the human body and the most other objects needs time to accelerate and slow down. For this reason, an animation looks more realistic if it has more frames near the beginning and end of the movement, and fewer in the middle. This principle goes for characters moving between two extreme poses, such as sitting down and standing up, but also for inanimate, so moving objects like the bouncing ball in the above illustration. Okay, so an extreme pose can be emphasized by slowing down as you get to it and as you leave it. In practice, many things do not move abruptly but start and stop gradually. Here the ball actions, suppose here the timing chart is given side, this is called ladder in classical and the traditional animation. We used to say that ladder. Okay, so here we are comparing ladder with these bouncing ball frames. So suppose this is the top frame and this is the last frame, and this is the in between, exactly the center of the these two frames. Here it is the center frame, and between this and this is the center frame, and that is this, and between these two and again this. Okay, so here it is creating the ladder. Here it is slow, here it is slow in, the ball is here slowly entering into room, and after that it reach. Okay, it reaches that. The same way here we are showing in a particular character. Here the action will be slow and here it is faster. Okay, so by this slow in, slow out, we are understanding this the principle. So this also we do in practical. Yes, then arcs. The most human and animal actions occur along an arc trajectory, and animation should reproduce these movements for greater realism. This can apply to a limb moving by rotating a joint, or a thrown object moving along a parabolic trajectory. The exception is mechanical movement, which typically moves in straight lines. Okay, so generally arcs are what for planning any character. First we draw the line of action. Arcs are nothing but your line of actions. Along with your line of actions, you can build humans, characters, whatever the anatomy is, we can flow on the particular line. So but for this action, he is pulling one rope. Okay, so he's stretching back. For that, first what we have to do, you must draw one line. This is called line of action. Over on that, as per your anatomy skills, we have to build entire character. The same way the other side, for the loose and the dull character, first we have to place this arc. Okay, the curvy arc. Over on that, you can build all the other body parts. So it is very easy to design your character. Next is secondary action. So adding secondary actions to the main action gives a scene more life and can help to support the main action. A person walking can simultaneously swing his arms or keep them in his pockets. He can speak or whistle, or he can express emotions through facial expressions. The important thing about secondary action is that they emphasize rather than take attention away from the main action. If the latter is the case, those actions are better left out. Okay, so secondary actions means what? Not primary actions. By this heading, simply we are understanding this is secondary action, not primary action. Okay, so in case of facial expressions during a dramatic moment, these will often go unnoticed. In these cases, it is better to include them at the beginning and the end of the movement rather than during. A good example of this is a character at a table acting and delivering their main acting. A side piece of acting business might be the character thumbing their fingers thumbing their fingers on the table. This is not the main action, say. Perhaps it occurs as the other hand is more largely gesturing and your focus is on the face. An action that emphasizes the main point but is secondary to it. Okay, person is giving lecture in front of the table. Okay, and his main action is he is explaining something to the public audience. At the same way, he is thumbing with fingers on the table. Suppose he is thumbing and moving his fingers on the table, okay, according to his speech. But his speech is main action, the thumbing is the secondary action. So secondary actions are very important for the animation. It gives the life to the action and animation. Then the ninth is timing. Timing in reality refers to two different concepts: physical timing and theatrical timing. It is essential both to the physical realism as well as to the storytelling of the animation that the timing is right on a purely physical level. Correct timing makes objects appear to abide to the laws of physics. For instance, an object's weight decides how it reacts to an impetus like a push. Theatrical timing is of a less technical nature and is developed mostly through experience. Okay, so generally we have majorly two kind of timings we can apply. So theatrical timing and realistic timing. So in a physical and realistic timing, in realistic timing we can respond and give the response in a realistic way. The physical timing and the exaggerated so timing is you can exaggerate more yourself, you can express more. So that is two type of timings are there, the physical and realism. Okay, and here it can be pure comic timing or it can be used to convey deep emotions. Okay, here we are giving two different balls, one plastic and one iron ball. Okay, so we are not filling with any color, the two are in outline only, but audience must have to understand which one is iron ball and which one is plastic ball. Okay, so we are hitting with one heavy metal on one object. Okay, so it starts to roll and after few frames suddenly it is stopping. Okay, the other one is lightly you can hit and it moves quickly and rolls into extra frames other than your metal ball, because here we are using two different timing. Okay, so by using the timing technique, public will understand which one is a plastic ball and which one is a iron ball. Okay, that is very important. So timing can define the weight of an object. Hit heavy balls versus hit a bouncing ball. So that is very important. So it can also be a device to communicate aspects of the character's personality. An action generally consists of anticipation, the action, and the reaction, any of this. So timing also reflects the weight of an object. So light objects move quickly, the heavier objects, the heavyweight objects move more slowly. Timing can completely change the meaning of an action. Okay, so that is more important. Suppose your drapery cloths and the heavyweight jackets and leather jackets can move very slowly, and the other objects like your silks and your cotton cloth move quickly. So depends on the material and the thickness of that, we'll understand the different timings. The 10th one is exaggeration. The exaggeration means what? Abnormal stage. Abnormally we are creating actions. So exaggeration is an effect especially useful for animation, as perfect imitation of reality can look static and dull in cartoons. Okay, the level of exaggeration depends on whether one seeks realism or a particular style, like a caricature or the style of an artist. The classical definition of exaggeration employed by Disney was to remain true to reality, just presenting it in a wilder, more extreme form. Other forms of exaggeration can involve in the supernatural or surreal. So alterations in the physical features of a character or elements in the storyline itself. Okay, so generally why should we use exaggeration in animation? So because without exaggerating things, it can be realistic. The realistic actions cannot be a animation. Okay, animation means you are exaggerating things. Okay, in abnormal stage you have to give the stretch and squashness. For example, then Tom and Jerry, they each other hitting with objects, and then it can exaggerate. So by exaggerating only you'll get the fun and humor can generate. Okay, so that is exaggeration. Okay, then the principle, the 11th one is solid drawing. Okay, so before that, so it is important to employ a certain level of restraint when using exaggeration. If a scene contains several elements, there should be a balance in how those elements are exaggerated in relation to each other, okay, to avoid confusing or worrying the viewer. So this is exaggeration of this one. It is a normal stage when the person is getting angry, so generally we exaggerate. So eyebrows can stretch, and your voice can stretch more loudly, we can say words. So that is what exaggerating in real life. The same way in cartoons also, characters can exaggerate. So eyes can pop up outside and rolling out inside the balls. These and all examples we are giving for the exaggeration. The 11th one is solid drawing. The solidness means good drawing. Okay, the perfect drawing. The principle of solid or good drawing really means that the same principle apply to an animator as to an academic artist. The drawer has to understand the basics of anatomy, composition, weight, balance, light and shadow, etc. For the classical animator, this involved taking art classes and doing sketches from life. So this is the reason for all the animation students, they should have to practice. Okay, life drawing, sketches, anatomy, character designing, storyboarding. So these exercises must have to involve in regular assignments. So that is the reason we are giving the assignments and live sketches also. Okay, one thing in particular that Johnston and Thomas warned against was creating twins. The characters whose left and right sides mirrored each other and look lifeless. Okay, though should not place character equally, the both left and right sides equally. So it is called symmetrical design. we are using a symmetrical formula, so both left and right. Okay, fixed formula we are using. Instead of that, we can make at least 1/3 or 3/4 poses, okay, for the better look. Okay, and the next the last one is appeal. So appeal in cartoon characters corresponds to what would be called charisma in an actor. A character who is appealing is not necessarily sympathetic. Villains and monsters can also be appealing. The important thing is that the viewer feels the character is real and interesting. There are several tricks for making a character connect better with the audience. For likable characters, a symmetrical or particularly baby-like face tends to be effective. So appeal means what? Every character has its own appeal. Suppose villains has some different appeal comparing with the heroes. Some round faces, some oval shaped faces, some rectangle, some square faces. That is the appeal for the particular characters. Here we are showing some examples. Okay, so note avoid perfect symmetries. So then what character animation is not? Okay, so character animation is about an artist bringing a character to life. It is not rotoscoping or blindly copying motion. It is not using raw motion capture or other automated techniques to make something simply move. In much the same way, tracing is not really drawing. If you are tracing something, you are tracing the motion, body movement, recorded video version. You are tracing. That is not animation. So that is mean rotoscoping of the action. You are imitating the realistic. The realistic actions are not animation. Animation means more than that. You have to exaggerate real things. Then only it creates the fun and generating humor. Okay. And animation requires the artist to interpret and create something that is more than the original. Okay. Then above principles are the foundation upon which good character animation lies. Okay. With practice, patience and perseverance, one's animation skills will improve. So then the current trends in animation. So generally we are using nowadays the computer graphics and CG, computer generated images we are using. Here geometric modeling and instrumentation, realistic rendering, the physical simulation and controllable simulation, and digital humans we are using. Those are current trends in animation. The building characters with the right shape and the control points is time consuming. What the right set of controls, the control points and muscle groups, blending example expressions. Okay, instrumentation controls. Here in 3D, 3D Max and Maya, this is computer generated image. The mesh flow is showing here. Okay, by the nodes and mesh flow, we build this character. After that, we give the texture. This is the final rendered 3D character. Okay. The computer role in animation. So computer animation can assist the traditional animation process on many levels. Example by generating in-betweens, automate cell layering, generating images from models. Okay, computers can help these areas. So computer can enable many new applications, animation in video games or other interactive media, merging of film and animated models, etc. Okay. So these are the animation 12 important animation principles. So very important. So keep in your mind. So these animation principles again we try to do in practically also. Then more clearly you will understand. Okay. So this is today's class. It's a theory based. Okay. Understand this, study this, and if you have any doubt, please ask. Thank you.